This is News 8 Now, this morning.
Housing, mental health, alcohol and drug addiction, other supportive services. So we're talking about a lot of huge systems. So it's really a complex issue where it's going to take a lot of working partners together to address it.
The La Crosse community will soon have an endowed scholarship fund that's going to help diversify the field of mental health providers we have in La Crosse so that our mental health community is more representative of the folks who call La Crosse community home.
It's all about the learning environment that we can create for them to be the best learners and give our staff, our teachers, our support staff the tools so that they have the best so they can provide the best educational opportunities for our students.
Good morning, everyone. That was your morning eye-opener. I'm Sophia Pullman.
And I'm Derek Sibley.
It is Wednesday, June 7th, hump day, halfway through the week.
I know, it's insane already moving through.
Well, I think it's supposed to rain this weekend.
It is, but hey, at least we have
a few nice days.
Today through Friday. It's looking really nice. So if you have any outdoor plans over the next few days,
now is to do
go out and enjoy it. So before we have those chances of rain this weekend. So let's get right to it here. And right now things are looking pretty quiet. There are some cloudy skies that continue to move through the Coulee region now as we speak. And you may run to a brief light shower or two. But hey, I can tell you what, we could use the rain because the drought monitor here next to me is showing that we are abnormally dry here across the Coulee region, at least in some spots, but again, just a light shower or two. Otherwise, those clouds will continue to move on in. Current temperatures are into the 60s, 63 in Eau Claire, 64 in La Crosse, Black River Falls, Sparta into the 50s this morning. Typical cool spots during the morning hours, and really through for the planner through the rest of the day after we get through the morning. Skies are looking mainly sunny with afternoon temperatures into the upper 70s to low 80s here today. As far as your allergen goes, for the grass and pine, the pollen symptom index level is high. The weed, however, is low. Tomorrow, we got the same story in the forecast. And the latest air sample actually that was contained showed a lot of pollution from the Canadian wildfires, a lot of dirt and junk in that pollution sample was detected from our friends over at the Allergy Associates of La Crosse. So information there. No surprise because of how hazy and smoky it's been around here, but I'll have a check on your full weather forecast in just a bit.
Thanks, Derek. Let's get to some news this morning. City and county partners came together to address homelessness concerns in the La Crosse area. Homeless Services Coordinator Brian Sampson and Human Services Director Jason Witt presented framework to city and county leaders. Sampson shared data that there are 288 individuals and families on the coordinated entry list. He says homelessness in the community is costing it an unrecognized $3.3 million. Sampson says this is an issue that the community has struggled with for years.
Housing, mental health, alcohol and drug addiction, other supportive services. So we're talking about a lot of huge systems. So it's really a complex issue where it's going to take a lot of working partners together to address it.
Sampson says the team is using research and feedback to decide what's best for our region. Now they have a 5-year plan, and the city and county plans to coordinate solutions together. The biggest issue is full shelters. County Board Chair Monica Cruz says it's important for county and city leaders to collaborate for change.
Before we can help people get jobs, solve their mental health problems, get free of addiction, they need to have a place to live.
Cruz says the next step is to collaborate across the community. She hopes to get major community stakeholders on board. If that happens, she says it will be a major step in the right direction. Police responded to a crash on Highway 53 near Galesville. Tri-State Ambulance was on the scene. 2 cars have suffered extensive damage. There was debris in the road and traffic was backed up. We will bring more information when we receive it. A driver is injured after his vehicle rolled over on Highway 27 in Monroe County. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office says the man was headed north around 8 this morning when he drove off the shoulder. The driver's vehicle rolled multiple times. The driver was injured but was able to climb out of his vehicle on his own and was then taken to the hospital. Officials are still investigating the crash. Madeline Kinsberry's children will remain with Kinsberry's parents. An agreement has been reached in the Children in Need of Protection or Services case involving her children. Kinsbury has been missing since March 31st. A release from the Winona County Attorney's Office says the children's case was filed to ensure her kids had necessary care. According to the release, the settlement confirms that Kinsbury was the children's only custodial parent. The release also said the county still holds temporary custody of the children. That status and the children's placement will not change until the court decides at a later date. Local nonprofits in the Coulee region are taking steps to make sure mental health providers reflect the community they serve. It's a partnership between Peace of Mind Counseling, Black, and the La Crosse Community Foundation. An anonymous donor will match the first $15,000 in gifts until the fund is established. One scholarship will be available each year for a BIPOC student that is pursuing a master's degree in mental health in the Midwest or a historically Black college.
The La Crosse community will soon have an endowed scholarship fund that's going to help diversify the field of mental health providers we have in La Crosse so that our mental health community is more representative of the folks who call La Crosse community home.
Statewide, Wisconsin is facing a mental health provider shortage. Executive Director Shondell Spivey says there's stigma in the Black community about seeking mental health support. He says it's important to find support with people who look like you or have gone through similar experiences. It was a record-breaking year for Wisconsin as the tourism industry saw a large boost in revenue. Governor Tony Evers stopped by in Onalaska to thank farmers for their contribution to the tourism boost. Governor Evers announced that tourism generated nearly $28 billion in 2022, which surpasses the previous record of roughly $22 billion set in 2019. The economic impact was felt across the entire state as all 72 counties in Wisconsin benefited from the revenue produced by the tourism industry.
Just from a tax point of view, that's a big M, $1.5 billion. But Wisconsin is a tourism state. People love to come to Wisconsin.
Evers says tourism impacts everyone with increased tax dollars from tourism. Governor Evers says that more funding for state and local governments. Tuesday was the last day of school for students at Bangor Elementary School, but it was also the beginning of a new chapter at the school. The district held a groundbreaking ceremony to mark the beginning of a remodeling phase for part of the elementary school. New doors, floors, ceiling, and roofing will be added to the 1967 portion of the building, along with additional parking and playground space. Faculty and staff said these renovations will benefit everyone, especially the students.
It's all about the learning environment that we can create for them to be the best learners and give our staff, our teachers, our support staff the tools so that they have the best so they can provide the best educational opportunities for our students.
As progress on the construction continues, Bangor School District will update their social media and district website. For more information, we have a link on news8000.com. It's time for theater lovers in La Crosse to get excited. Viterbo University announced its musical and play lineup for the 2023-2024 season. 42nd Street, The Nutcracker, and Bat Boy, the musical, are all on the roster. The shows feature famous musicians, comedians, and dancers. Artistic director Rick Walters says there is something for everybody to get involved in.
And I know that Dylan McCardle, who's the director of our Fine Arts Center, has worked really hard to put together an exciting season. It's got a little something for everyone in this season. It has dance, some top name musical talent, some of our top comedians from across the country. So there really is something for everybody in this coming season. And
for more information on tickets and showtimes, you can visit Viterbo's website. We will post that on our website. Still ahead on your morning news, Ford is recalling thousands of hybrid cars and trucks for the second time. And a new study shows that the high employee turnover rate may cause some Wisconsin agencies to have problems. That and more coming up this morning. For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. In celebration of National Adopt a Cat Month in June, Sea Life at Mall of America invited kittens from Twin Cities rescue organization Bitty Kitty Brigade to check out the aquarium. Bitty Kitty Brigade is a foster-based no-kill rescue for orphaned newborn kittens. 15 kittens ranging in age from 6 to 12 weeks old went on a field trip to Sea Life to visit their aquatic friends. Don't go anywhere. Your consumer news at News 8 Now this morning after the break.
Everything is looking quiet, but a little on the cloudy side, however, this morning as those clouds continue to filter in from the north. A slight chance of a shower is possible here, but I think for the most part, conditions still remaining pretty dry. Those mostly cloudy conditions continue to linger for your dog walking conditions this morning. Lots of afternoon sunshine and evening clear skies there with temperatures as you head out the door now, mainly in the 60s. We got 63 in Eau Claire, 64 in La Crosse, and 64 as well in Winona. So let's get checked now on your zone forecast today. Pretty seasonable in terms of our high temperatures this afternoon. Upper 70s to low 80s. 80 today in both Onalaska and La Crosse. 78 today in Holben. 75 in Viroqua today. And a high of 78 in Stoddard. And as we head to our central zones, we're looking at highs mainly into the upper 70s. 78 Melrose. 78 as well in Osseo. Chippewa Valley, upper 70s here with mixed clouds and sunshine. So overall, if you have any outdoor plans, maybe hanging out by the pool here in the backyard, 70 or 80 degrees, I should say. Partly cloudy skies and overall a pretty seasonable day here to work with, and overall pretty quiet weather conditions. I'll have a check on your full weather forecast here coming up in a few minutes. We'll talk about some possible rain chances that we could be dealing with later this week.
In your consumer news this morning, the Consumer Product Safety Commission is urging people to stop using an infant pillow that has been linked to at least 10 baby deaths. Poppy newborn loungers were originally recalled in September of 2021 after 8 infants died. Babies can suffocate in certain positions on the pillow or roll off it onto other dangerous surfaces. Some people have continued to use the product, which has resulted in 2 more deaths since the recall. Anyone who owns the product should stop using it immediately. Ford is recalling thousands of hybrids for a second time. It comes after its first recall failed to address a fire hazard. This round includes 125,000 of the most recent years of Escapes, Mavericks, and Cossiers. Their gas engines can leak oil or vapors, and those can catch fire when they come into contact with hot parts of the compartment. Ford says it's received 28 reports of those fires. Workers with United Parcel Service will vote this week to authorize a strike if their union does not reach a new contract by August 1st. If employees walk, it would be the largest work stoppage in U.S. history. UPS has 340,000 employees, and its union, the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, represents more than half of the workforce. The company says it has reached an agreement on several major issues, but both sides are bargaining over pay increases, benefits, and better working conditions. More Starbucks locations will soon have the new controversial olive oil infused coffee drinks. Previously, the drinks were only available in 4 states, but soon customers will be able to buy the so-called Oleato drinks at Starbucks in Austin, Boston, Chicago, Dallas, and more. The combination of oil and coffee reportedly caused digestion problems for some people. The menu offers an oat milk latte and a toffee nut iced shaken espresso, each with a spoonful of olive oil. Roughly 1 in 6 employees, that's how many turned over in Wisconsin state agencies. Will Keneally spoke to one of the report's researchers who says that can have a significant impact on what state government looks like.
For the Wisconsin Policy Forum says the high turnover rate, more than 16% this past fiscal year, has a higher impact on some of those larger agencies. The Departments of Veterans Affairs, Corrections, and Health Services all run facilities that have to be staffed around the clock. But this impacts the rest of Wisconsin's agencies too.
Maybe the most notable was the Public Service Commission, which regulates utilities in the state. The average tenure for workers there fell from 18.1 years in 2014 to like 9.5 in 2022.
Not everyone, for instance, has the expertise to navigate the state law needed to regulate utilities. With some of the turnover, especially retirements, it leaves a younger, less experienced workforce managing state government. State agencies can certainly raise pay, but that is a drawn-out process that requires legislative approval.
It's possible that without those pay increases, the situation would actually be worse.
This is something to watch as the legislature's Joint Finance Committee continues working on the state budget. They meet Thursday to approve the budgets for transportation, corrections, and other state agencies. That's it for your morning consumer news. Let's check in with Derek and today's forecast.
Thanks so much for that, Sophia. We are under the influence of mainly cloudy skies here now across the Coulee region, as you can see behind me from City Cam 8 in downtown La Crosse. Current temperatures in La Crosse at 64 degrees, light east winds at 5. Meanwhile, to the north in Eau Claire, 63 degrees, cloudy skies here. East winds at around 8 miles an hour, visibility levels at 10 miles, so good driving conditions there for you. Into the 50s for Black River Falls and Sparta. Winona currently at 64 degrees. High temperatures today warming up into the upper 70s to low 80s, making it yet a pretty seasonable day today across the Coulee region. So 64 and mostly cloudy to start, 73 at noon today, lots of sun, 79 and still sunny by 4. Clear skies will linger as we head into early this evening with temperatures there at 74 degrees. So this cold front already passed through here yesterday, and very slow moving here it is as it continues to move south. Showers and some thunderstorms up along and near that leading edge of the front that will continue here mainly to the south. We are under the influence of some leftover cloudy skies in the wake of that front still lingering across the area. Also cooler and drier, which you probably noticed here as you head out the door as well. However, that being said, you know, we could really use the rain here across the Coulee region. We are now abnormally dry across the Chippewa Valley and also down towards our southern communities, including La Crosse County as well. And unfortunately, I just don't really see a whole lot of rain chances in the near future. In fact, most of the cloud cover and precipitation is going to continue to move away from us as it continues to move down towards the south following that cold front that moved through the other day. High pressure to the north is going to begin to take shape, and that's going to help give us those dry weather conditions to work with here as we continue throughout the rest of this week. And as a matter of fact, you can see that conditions will continue to remain on the clear, dry, and sunny side of things even as we head into Thursday. Now, looking ahead towards the end of this week, we are watching that the high pressure system that's going to be building in here over the next couple of days to weaken and move away. Here's our next front that's forecast to move in as we head into this weekend. That could give us some showers and thunderstorms to work with, as a matter of fact, as we head into this weekend as well. So that's our next best bet here of seeing some rain and thunderstorm chances around here is this weekend. Other than that, expect mainly dry and overall just mix of clouds and sunshine with seasonal temperatures into the upper 70s to low 80s to linger over the next several days, except for this weekend, of course, something that we'll be keeping our eyes on. Meanwhile, those low temperatures into the 50s and low 60s. Now stay with us. We're back with much more news and weather still to come on News 8 Now this morning. However, we're taking a quick break with a look at what happened on this day in history for June 7th. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Blitz. It was a busy day on the diamond. The state baseball tournament is next week. A few of our area teams are just a couple of wins away from punching their ticket to Appleton. We'll start in Division 3 with a couple of our area squads going head-to-head. Let's go to the Park Bowl in Viroqua. Two red-hot teams going at it, Aquinas and Bangor in the sectional semifinal. Pitchers duel early on, but the Blue Golds break through in the third. Calvin Hargrove finds the gap in right center. 2 runs are going to come in to score on the triple from Hargrove. That makes it 3-0 Aquinas. Then in the 5th, Hargrove is going to come through again. He scorches one into center field. That gets down for a base hit. Ben Corsi slides in safe to make it 4-0 Blue Golds. Tanner Peterson throwing a gem on the mound for Aquinas, and he gets the 4-6-3 double play, and that ends it. Blue Golds shut out Bangor 4-0 as they advance to the sectional final. So that brings us to game 2. Will Dietz on the mound for the Blue Golds as they take on Cuba City. Dietz was in a groove early. He's going to get the strikeout here to end the top of the first. Still scoreless. Then in the second, Dietz throws in the dirt but gets the batter to swing. Hargrove with the throw to first. That's another strikeout. Aquinas out of the inning. Blue Golds looking for some offense now, and Eddie Peters is going to provide it. He finds the gap in left center. That gets to the fence. Peters is in with a leadoff double. A few batters later, Kyle White is going to bring him in. A line shot out to the outfield. Peters rounds third. He's going to come in and score. Aquinas takes the lead. Same inning. Ben Corsi at the plate now, and the senior gives this ball a ride out to left. That's going to take a bounce over the fence for a ground rule double. Part of a 4-run inning. Blue Gold's up big. Now a 2-run game. Last chance for the Cubans. Eddie Peters is going to get the strikeout, and that ends it. Blue Golds win it 4-2 the final. Aquinas is headed to the state tournament for the first time since 2017.
I mean, it feels great, man. Like, it's indescribable. Our work that we put in really paid off here. I mean, I think we still got to just stick to our routine, keep working hard in practice. And I know Mike D will prepare us, and our coaching staff, they'll prepare us and get us ready for that game.
Blue Golds will travel to Appleton for their semifinal game next Tuesday. Altoona hosting a D2 sectional. West Salem squaring off with Mosinee. Indians get to Brett McConkey right away in the first. Taylor Lemansky sending a deep fly to left center, and that ball's gone. Mosinee grabs the early 1-0 lead. Panthers threatening in the second. Bennett Burke finds a hole through the right side. Jacob Helgeson slides in for the score. We're all tied at 1. But Mosinee responds in the bottom of the inning. Grant Kuklinski shoots a single to left field. That plays Cameron Zeeble. Indians regain the lead. It's 2-1. Now 3-1 in the 6th. Panthers needing a rally. McConkey sends one to deep right center. Rolls all the way to the wall. Luke Knoll scores from first to cut the deficit to 1. Momentum carried from there. Brendan Kennedy, tough bouncer to the left side. There's no play. Panthers take the lead. Carson Kepnick would drive in another in the 6th, part of a 6-run inning. Panthers go on to win it 7-3. Next up for West Salem, a date with top-seeded Altoona for the sectional title. In the second, bases loaded for the Railroaders. Keaton Camastral dumps a base hit to left center. That's going to play to pair. It's 2-0 Altoona. Same score in the 4th. West Salem looking for a spark. Jacob Helgeson, line drive, caught by the first baseman, touches first for the double play, still 2-0. Rails adding some insurance in the 5th. Colin Boyarski laces a shot the opposite way. Another run comes in. It's 3-0 Altoona. Panthers had some chances, but they just couldn't break through. West Salem falls in the sectional final, 3-0. Up to Blair for the D4 sectional. Top-seeded Oliva Strum taking on Pittsville. No score in the bottom of the second. Ty Gelstad shoots one towards right field. The second baseman makes a great stop. Throw to first, not in time. Run scores. Cardinals take a 1-0 lead. In the 3rd, the pitcher helping his own cause as Tyler Webb drives one the opposite way. Hops the fence. That plates Carter Gunderson to make it 2-0 Cards. Now 3-0 in the 4th. Pittsville finding some life as Brad Neve rips a single to left field. Dylan Luther scores to get the Panthers on the board, but the Cardinals get that run back and some. Justin Becker bouncing one in a shallow right. Oliva Strum goes up 5-1. Jake Bjerke adding to the damage in the 4th as well with an RBI single to left. Make it 7-1 Cards. Oliva Strum moves on to the sectional final, 12-3. But the Cardinals run into Ithaca in the sectional final. It's the Bulldogs coming out on top as they get the win 6-2. Ithaca advances to the state tournament next week in Appleton. That's going to do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
Breaking overnight, 7 people were shot following a high school graduation ceremony in Virginia. Interim Chief of Richmond Police Rick Edwards says a 18-year-old male and a 36-year-old male were killed and several others shot following Huguenot High School's graduation ceremony outside of Altria Theater in Richmond, Virginia. Edwards says the suspect is a 19-year-old male and was taken into custody. A motive is not yet known, but Edwards believes some of the individuals knew each other. This incident, along with others, come on the heels of a new report from the Johns Hopkins Center for Gun Violence Solutions. The report says gun violence in the U.S. hit a record high in 2021 with nearly 49,000 gun deaths, with increases in both gun-related homicides and suicides. The report also says guns are the leading cause of death for children and teenagers in the U.S. There are fresh concerns among farmers in Dakota County as Minnesota again experiences a long period without rain. The nerves are perhaps even more pronounced now because farmers are still recovering from the extreme drought last summer. As Jonah Kaplan reports, the lack of rain could really put a damper on our wallets.
We're right off Highway 52, and you can see behind me, it's really a tale of two crops. In the far distance, this is soybeans, planted just last week. You still see a lot of brown. It hasn't really rained. Now look, just in front over here, this is corn, planted about 2 to 3 weeks ago. That's when it did rain. Look how much greener, look how much higher. The latest drought monitor labeling Minnesota as abnormally dry. Last year at this time, the conditions actually better, but look what happened just 6 months later.
Just try praying a little harder.
Those prayers clearly didn't work for the Warner family last year. Jerry Warner saying they lost half the crop. Today, the 82-year-old is still keeping the faith. This is his 65th crop on a farm his family's owned for 150 years.
Because I survived some major surgeries and a bad stroke last fall, and I'm still going, still farming. I was out in the tractor every day this spring.
Warner taking us on a ride through the farm, one of more than 800 in Dakota County, according to the latest USDA survey. The produce doesn't just feed us, it helps grow the economy, from factories to farmers markets. The Warners do own crop insurance, but they caution that only helps them and not the consumer. As supply goes down, prices always go up.
Yeah, and then the people in the city will have to pay more for it, and then they'll complain again. But it all comes back to if the farmer don't get a crop, then they're going to have to pay more money.
According to the Warners, installing an irrigation system could cost at least $200,000. Ideally, they say crops need at least 1 inch of rain per week. Wisconsin's Parole Commission may soon be forced to post its decisions online about who has been granted or denied parole. This Republican-authorized bill is up for final approval in the state Senate today. The Senate plans to make changes on the bipartisan-supported bill, which will require the Assembly to vote on it again before it can go to Governor Tony Evers. Under the bill, the Department of Corrections would be required to post the names of individuals granted or denied parole or returned to prison following the removal of parole. You never know what the stranger next to you is going through in life. It's the little acts of kindness out of the blue that can stick with one person. One Waushara, County man has created hundreds of memories for veterans. Dale Ryman tells us how Bob Brown began his campaign of giving thanks across central Wisconsin.
Most of the furniture in the house he built.
One step onto the Browns' front porch.
Trial and error.
The woodwork catches your eye.
The fact that you can take a log and turn it into something nice.
Since the late 60s, Bob Brown has been building and building.
I draw my own plans up.
For someone who built his life in pharmacy, craftsmanship is his medicine today.
The only thing that can stop you from doing anything is your mind.
A few years ago at a high school reunion, he gave wooden flags to some veteran classmates.
To see this bunch of guys that you grew up with basically in school having tears run down their eyes. And that's pretty darn good encouragement to do it again.
His mission turned to giving thanks and a patriotic piece of art to veterans.
Just seeing how the veterans react to it, to be so thankful that you have tears in your eyes.
It's just rewarding for us too, to see their reaction, to know that they're not forgotten.
Armed with flags and eagles, Bob and Gail, his wife of 52 years, keep their eagle eyes open when they're out and about.
I seem to have a deal where I can tell a veteran pretty easily.
And we thought that was the perfect location.
In April, Jared Kyle and his wife were leaving a Plover grocery store when Bob and Gail spotted the couple.
I was just having a bad day. He says, "Hey, I see you're a veteran. I've got something for you." And he opens up his trunk and hands this to me. And it's the most beautiful thing in the world.
That act alone rescued this Navy man and pulled him out of his dark place.
I just can't convey enough to Bob how important it is to the rest of the service members that he's doing this.
So many of them that we do give stuff to say they've never been thanked before. They're unbelievably thankful.
So far, Bob has handed out 304 eagles and flags. While a bad knee may slow him down this summer, quitting isn't an option.
I told Hallie, our granddaughter, I says, you know, I don't want to stop doing it. I think I could hit 500. And she says, you better make sure you hit 500, Grandpa.
The amazing part is that he made that many, and he made them by hand. And he puts a lot of detail, a lot of thought into each one.
He's not just Bob the Builder, but Bob an American, saluting those for their service.
To know that you made a difference in somebody's life, you made their life a little better, you know, and by doing what? What I love to do.
While Bob didn't serve, his son Tim is a Marine. He says he does it to honor him. Bob and Gail have given away as many as 7 in one day. He says he regrets not starting it sooner. Here is Derek to tell us what to expect in our morning commute.
All right, thanks for that, Sophia. We are looking at mainly cloudy skies that continue across the Coulee region now, and a few light sprinkles here are possible, but otherwise expect those cloudy conditions to linger across the area with temperatures as you head out the door mainly into the 60s. 63 in Eau Claire now and 64 degrees in La Crosse. The forecast today calls for temperatures at 80 degrees, pretty seasonable under partly cloudy conditions, and a light east-northeast wind at 5 to 10 miles an hour. For tonight, temperatures dropping to 52, slightly on the mild side, partly cloudy skies, east winds at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Overall, the mowing conditions here this morning, 62 degrees, mostly cloudy. A beautiful start here as we head into this afternoon, noon today. That's probably the perfect time to go ahead and do any mowing yet. If you haven't yet, 73 being the temperature. 5 p.m., lots of sun, 80 degrees as well. So also overall pretty comfortable outside to do so. But if you want cooler temperatures to mow, it's probably best to go ahead and do that as early as you can before it gets a little bit too warm. But stay tuned. I'll have a final check on your full weather forecast coming up after the break, and we'll talk about upcoming possible rain chances here too. Coming up in our Buzz Report as well, the Captain America movie starring Anthony Mackie has gone through a name change. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, it sure is a pretty cloudy start outside from City Cam 8 in downtown La Crosse. As you can see right there behind me, 64 degrees with those temperatures here currently in La Crosse, 63 degrees if you're in Eau Claire, and light east winds at around 8 miles an hour. Current temperatures as we stand right now are mainly into the 60s. Black River Falls, you're still into the 50s, struggling to reach 60 at the moment. 59 in Viroqua, and we're seeing 64 degrees currently if you're in Winona. With our forecast highs today, very seasonable for this time of the year, as highs will climb into the upper 70s. Some spots, including La Crosse, hitting a high today, expected of 80 degrees this afternoon. 64 mostly cloudy will continue at 7, and then 73 degrees with lots of sunshine at noon today. 79 degrees and lots of sun at 4, and clear skies linger as we head into early this evening. At 8 p.m., temperatures will be at around 74 degrees. We are still watching that nearly stationary frontal boundary that continues to drop down towards the south, and you could see some showers and thunderstorms riding up along or near that nearly stationary front as it continues to move away from us. But zooming in a little bit closer to home, there you can see some of those passing clouds, and a slight chance of a shower is possible here this morning. But I think for the most part, conditions will continue to remain dry, and that's not necessarily good news because we are still under an abnormally pattern here for dry weather conditions across the Chippewa Valley and south across our southern communities, which by the way does include La Crosse County as well. So we'll definitely use the rain when we can get it. But unfortunately, I just don't really see a whole lot of chances of rain around here over the next several days. The front's going to continue to move towards the south. High pressure to the north is going to be building in pretty broadly across the upper Midwest. And so with that type of pattern, we're not really expecting a whole lot of activity in terms of rain or thunderstorms around here, which will continue as we head into Thursday. In fact, I'm expecting a pretty clear day as we head into the day tomorrow as this high pressure system continues to build in. Now, looking ahead into Friday, the high is going to continue to sit across the upper Midwest, but it's going to start to pull away here as we head into later in the day on Friday. And as we head into this weekend, we're watching our next cold front move through. So we'll be watching this carefully because that could give us our next best chance of seeing showers and thunderstorms as it moves through here by this weekend. So we'll keep our eyes on that. But as of right now, our rain chances aren't looking too high for the weekend, anywhere between around 30 to 40% for both Saturday and Sunday. But at least we have something there here for us. We'll definitely watch out for that. Other than that, it's going to be looking pretty quiet around here with temperatures into the 80s during the afternoon and low temperatures in the morning into the 50s and low 60s.
In our morning Buzz report, Anthony Mackie's first film as Captain America, originally subtitled New World Order, is now Brave New World. Marvel tweeted the change in this photo of Mackie with Harrison Ford, who's replacing the late William Hurt as Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. Captain America Brave New World is still due in theaters May 3rd.
This is very important. You are going to the St. Regis Hotel. Salvador Dali is there. You are going to keep an eye on him. And make sure he paints.
Oscar winner Sir Ben Kingsley stars as iconic artist Salvador Dali in Daliland. Christopher Briney plays a young assistant navigating Dali's world and trying to help him prepare for a big gallery show. Daliland opens in theaters and on demand Friday. Her subtle voice and bossa nova hit song The Girl from Ipanema will live on in family and friends of Astrid Gilberto. Astrid Gilberto confirmed the Brazilian singer died Monday at the age of 83. Her iconic song was featured in more than 50 films and was the first Gilberto recorded. New York's Tribeca Film Festival kicks off today, featuring a diverse range of stories and documentaries, including one about TV news pioneer and former CBS Evening News anchor Dan Rather. Nearly 70% of the competition featured films are directed by women. The Tribeca Film Festival runs until June 18th. Have you ever looked into the Tribeca film?
I haven't. I haven't really heard about that.
I don't know what it is.
I haven't heard about that until now.
Yep,
so
me
yeah,
either.
that's new for me.
Okay, I figured. I always ask, and you typically.
No, it's just yeah, I know. I'm really embarrassed too when it comes to that. By the way, entertainment news, it's like I live under a rock. You all know that anyway.
Now, normally this is when we would do Look Who's 8, but
we just don't have any birthdays today. But if you do have a birthday, happy birthday.
Yes.
Submit it though next time if you can, if you're turning 8.
If you know a special someone turning 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
And that's when you want to submit it. So also upload the photo to our website, news8000.com, a little bit about themselves as well, and look for that Submit Pictures button underneath the Home tab on our website.
Stay with us. We have everything you need to know today in 5 minutes or less. Your Morning News Now is up next. City and county partners came together to address homelessness concerns in the La Crosse area. Homeless Services Coordinator Brian Sampson and Human Services Director Jason Witt presented framework to city and county leaders. Sampson shared data that there are 288 individuals and families on the coordinated entry list. He says homelessness in the community is costing it an unrecognized $3.3 million. Sampson says this is an issue that the community has struggled with for years.
Housing, mental health, alcohol and drug addiction, other supportive services. So we're talking about a lot of huge systems. So it's really a complex issue where it's going to take a lot of working partners together to address it.
Sampson says the team is using research and feedback to decide what's best for our region. Now they have a 5-year plan, and the city and county plan to coordinate solutions together. The biggest issue is full shelters. County Board Chair Monica Cruz says it's important for county and city leaders to collaborate for change.
Before we can help people get jobs, solve their mental health problems, get free of addiction, they need to have a place to live.
Cruz says the next step is to collaborate across the community. She hopes to get major community stakeholders on board. If that happens, she says it will be a major step in the right direction. Madeline Kinsberry's children will remain with Kinsberry's parents. An agreement has been reached in the Children in Need of Protection or Services case involving her children. Kinsberry has been missing since March 31st. A release from the Winona County Attorney's Office says the children's case was filed to ensure her kids had necessary care. According to the release, the settlement confirms that Kinsberry was the children's only custodial parent. The release also said the county still holds temporary custody of the children. That status and the children's placement will not change until the court decides at a later date. Local nonprofits in the Cooley region are taking steps to make sure mental health providers reflect the community they serve. In a partnership between Peace of Mind Counseling, Black, and the La Crosse Community Foundation, an anonymous donor will match the first $15,000 in gifts until the fund is established. One scholarship will be available each year for a BIPOC student that is pursuing a master's degree in mental health in the Midwest or a historically black college.
The lacrosse community will soon have an endowed scholarship fund that's going to help diversify the field of mental health providers we have in lacrosse so that our mental health community is more representative of the folks who call lacrosse community home.
Statewide, Wisconsin is facing a mental health provider shortage. Black Executive Director Shondell Spivey says there's stigma in the Black community about seeking mental health support. He says it's important to find support with people who look like you and have gone through similar experiences. Tuesday was the last day of school for students at Bangor Elementary School, but it was also the beginning of a new chapter at the school. The district held a groundbreaking ceremony to mark the beginning of the remodeling phase for part of the elementary school. New doors, floors, ceiling, and roofing will be added to the 1967 portion of the building, along with additional parking and playground space. Faculty and staff said these renovations will benefit everyone, especially the students.
It's all about the learning environment that we can create for them to be the best learners and give our staff, our teachers, our support staff the tools so that they have the best so they can provide the best educational opportunities for our students.
As progress on the construction continues, Bangor School District will update their social media and district website. For more information, we have a link on news8000.com.
And as you head out the door this morning, temperatures are into the 60s under mainly cloudy skies, but that will change though as temperatures warm up into the 70s and low 80s by this afternoon with lots of sunshine. So yes, we are expecting those clouds to clear out. And for tomorrow and Friday, we're looking at partly to mostly sunny skies, highs into the low 80s. This weekend, we could be looking at our next best bet of showers and thunderstorms, something that we'll keep our eyes on. And as we head into next week, starting off mainly dry and sunny, highs still remaining into the 80s and lows into the 50s and low 60s.
Hopefully that rain kind of goes away this weekend.
Well, we do need the rain though. That's the problem.
True.
So, you know,
You're right.
We could take it.
We could take it here.
Just no, dry lightning or anything like that. We don't want to set any wildfires
I know.
off.
I just got done saying how much of a drought Wisconsin's in. Yes. Yep. Okay. We'll take the rain.
We need the rain, just a little bit.
Thanks, Derek. And thank you for watching News 8 Now. Don't forget to keep up with the news of the day on news8000.com. We will have the latest updates to today's top stories on News 8 Now at noon. Have a great morning, everyone, and thank you for watching News 8.